You're listening to CFRN, a community of believers who trade for a living. To learn more about who we are, what we do, and how we do it, call toll-free 1-866-928-3310, and we'll send you out a no-obligation information kit absolutely free. 866-928-3310. The CFRN Emini Futures Cast is now on Stitcher. Listen to us on your iPhone, Android phones, BlackBerry, and WebOS phones. Stitcher is smart radio for your phone. Find it in your app store or at Stitcher.com. Stitcher Smart Radio, the smarter way to listen to radio.
Are you ready, Steve? Andy? Yeah! Bert? Well, all right, fellas. Let's go!
You're listening to CFRN, the Christian Financial Radio Network.
Today's broadcast is brought to you by Audible. Get a free audiobook download at www.audibletrial.com/CFRN. Over 85,000 titles. Choose from mystery, romance, religion, science, technology, business, New York Times bestsellers, even children's books. You name it, Audible has it. With 85,000 titles to choose from, you're sure to find the perfect audiobook for yourself or to give as a gift, and it's absolutely free. Just point your browser to audibletrial.com/CFRN. That's audibletrial.com/CFRN. And become a part of the audiobook revolution by downloading your free audiobook today. audibletrial.com/CFRN.
Hey, trader, want to get rich quick? Well, good luck with that. If, on the other hand, you actually want to learn how to trade, the place to be is www.cfrn.net. Tune in Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. Eastern for our daily devotional, and then spend the next 3 hours learning how it's done for professional traders who actually trade for a living. That's www.cfrn.net. Every trading day from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern. CFRN, a community of believers who trade for a living.
Good afternoon, traders, and welcome back to the CFRN Emini Futures Cast. This is the daily broadcast of Indeterminate Length, where we discuss all things Emini, along with some really big ideas on the finer points of trading gold, bonds, crude, sugar, the euro, and even T-bills. Joining us today from our studios in Boston, Mr. Michael Borth. From our trading desk in Chicago, Mr. Burton Schlichter. Now, to get things started, let's go to our host and founder in Studio A, overlooking South Mountain, America's largest city park. Here's Dwayne.
And good afternoon. Welcome back. Today is Tuesday, 22nd day of May, 2018. Hope you're having a great Tuesday, whoever you are, wherever you are. Thanks for tuning in. If you're returning, welcome back. If you're here for the first time, a special welcome to you. We are glad to have you with us. If you cannot see the chart I have up, go to the S&P, go to the homepage. The chart's the S&P 500, but go to our homepage at CFRN.net. On the right-hand side of the page, click the big microphone, follow the instructions. Within 30 seconds, you'll be registered all the way through the end of the month. You only have to register once per month. It gives you one-click access to the program. You can also catch the dual stream at youtube.com/CFRN/live. Bookmark that page so you always have one-click access. Now, I have a friend who met the vice president the other day. Pence, I believe would be the gentleman's name. Yeah, Mike Pence. And he said he's quite a guy. And You know, it's possible that we could see Trump in the White House for 8 years. You know, that's if he doesn't get impeached, which I don't see happening. Now, my friend, he's quite a guy. He is a pastor out of Yuma, of all places. He's got connections around the world. They have a church in South Africa. They have some underground churches in China. And he was supposed to speak with Trump, but he stopped to shake hands with one guy, and when he turned back around, Trump was gone. He was invited. I think there were 120 pastors across America invited to come for the National Day of Prayer, and he was one of them. Not because Trump knows him, but because the person in Arizona that got to do the picking knew my friend. So, Pastor Tyrone out of Yuma. Okay, let's get cooking. Now, Pompeo, Secretary of State Mike Pompeo, has said that the U.S. is going to crush Iran with severe economic sanctions and military pressure if it doesn't end all nuclear enrichment. They also want the forces pulled out of Syria and a list of other demands. The sting of sanctions will grow more painful if the regime does not change course. Pompeo also urged the Iranian people, to reject the rule of the clerical government in Tehran. It wasn't always like this in Tehran. It was different. The hard grip of repression is that millions of Iranians have never known. Iran promptly rejected the ultimatum, calling it the kind of bullying that is alienating the Trump administration even from allies. Who are you to decide for Iran and the world? Asked the Iranian president. Now, what do you think Iran's got cooking? How are they going to beat these sanctions? Because they're almost dead in the water as it is now. You ready for this? Iranian and Russian lawmakers are jointly examining the idea of using cryptocurrency to bypass international and American sanctions. The head of the Iranian Parliamentary Commission for Economic Affairs raised the idea during a recent meeting in Moscow with the chair of the Federation Council Committee on Economic Policy. He explained that the Russians share our opinion. We said that if we manage to move this work forward, then we will be the first countries that use digital currencies in the exchange of goods. Iran's government-owned media, Press TV, reports that the country's leadership specifically started to look at Bitcoin as an alternative monetary means to be used in trade after it became clear that European companies were failing to trade with Iran over fears that they would fall afoul of U.S. primary sanctions. Should be noted, the Iranian government is trying to stop its citizens from having access to global markets that it seeks for itself, banning banks from dealing with crypto, and even traditional foreign currency exchange shops. Still, Iranian citizens have reportedly sent more than $2.5 billion out of the country to purchase crypto. Now, here at home, congressional candidate Brian Ford has celebrated yesterday in San Francisco that his campaign raised $100,000 in cryptocurrency donations. A former head of MIT's Digital Currency Initiative and Obama's senior technology advisor, he is considered to be a vocal supporter of cryptocurrency. Meanwhile, his main Democratic opponent, a former SEC enforcement attorney, has attacked Ford for his work in crypto, referring to his donors in an ad as Bitcoin speculators that oppose cracking down on drug deals and human trafficking. they're getting desperate. This contested race is shaping up to be a major example of cryptocurrency impact on electoral politics in America. It is also nice to see that the matter is now getting bipartisan support in the U.S. As recently reported, on the other side of the country and the opposite side of the aisle, a Trump-supporting Republican and a Bitcoin enthusiast is running to be the next New York Attorney General. That's right, the next New York Attorney General, a Republican and a Bitcoin enthusiast. Now, just think, if Trump does get 2 terms, and then if Mike Pence can get elected, that's I gotta take my shoes off. That's 16 years the Republicans have the White House. Now, if we can't straighten this thing out in 16 years, shame on us. Shame on us. Vitalik Buterin, the developer of Ethereum, has co-written a short manifesto of sorts with the young political economist Glenn Weil, and it's called unapologetically Liberation Through Radical Decentralization. In it, they explain how the cryptocurrency ecosystem is suited for developing and testing new models for governance, voting, and more in a way that can fundamentally change how both democracy and capitalism works. They remind us that Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies in particular emerged directly as a reaction to the perceived excesses of the traditional financial system, with the Times 03, January 3rd, 2009 Chancellor on brink of a second bailout for banks carved indelibly into Bitcoin's Genesis block. They said the decentralized technologies behind cryptocurrencies have potential applications far beyond finance. Now, with all the recent news about so many ICOs being not on the up and up, or just failures, it's good to remember there are actual projects in the cryptocurrency space that are delivering real services to real users. 2 prime examples, along with ourselves, of course, are Brave and Steemit. Coincidentally, 2 different attempts to change how online content monetization works. The Brave browser recently passed 5 million downloads for the Android operating system and now boasts over 2.3 million monthly active users and over 14,000 verified publishers. And recently, the 1 millionth account was created on the Steem blockchain, which now sees around 60,000 unique accounts transacting each day and over 250,000 unique daily visitors for the site. So, there you have it. And if that weren't enough, former President Barack Obama formally announced yesterday a multi-year production deal with Netflix in which he and the former First Lady, Michelle, will produce television shows and films for the streaming service. Now, this deal will give Mr. Obama an international television platform during his post-presidency. You know, normally they write books, they go on speaking engagements. This guy gets a TV show, allowing him to reach millions of people in the United States and internationally with his ongoing rhetoric. The couple has created Higher Ground Productions, a company to produce content for Netflix. The former president has told associates that he does not intend to use the new platform to wage a public campaign against his successor in the Oval Office. Oh, please. Or to fight conservative voices that populate media outlets like Fox News. Instead, a release from Netflix said the Obamas will produce scripted series, unscripted series, docuseries, documentaries, and features. What will these documentaries be about? Well, they'll highlight the issues and themes the president pursued during his 8 years in office. Oh, it's different this time, okay? Mr. Obama has remained largely quiet since leaving office about a year and a half ago, despite calls from some of his supporters to be more active in fighting back against Mr. Trump's assault on the Obama legacy. Former president and his advisors have rejected that approach, believing that Mr. Obama would become a convenient political target for the current president. As a result, the Netflix deal is unlikely to be a vehicle for any sharp partisan rhetoric by the former president. I don't believe that for a minute. Word of negotiations between Mr. Obama and Netflix was first reported in the New York Times in March. Netflix did not disclose financial details of the arrangement, though similar deals between streaming services and high-profile celebrities have been worth many tens of millions of dollars over several years. So, they are among, according to Netflix, Barack and Michelle are among the world's most respected and highly recognized public figures and are uniquely positioned to discover and highlight stories of people who make a difference in their communities and strive to change the world for better. Yeah, I mean, he was pretty good at that. Let's give the Iranians, I don't know, how many billions? And while we're at it, let's give them some yellow cake. Now, President Trump, Pompeo, Pence, they got to come in and try to clean up this mess. The world's going upside down. It really has. All right, here's the numbers. These are the cash markets around the world. We'll start in the U.S. Currently, the Dow is down 22 points. NASDAQ is up 11.5. S&P is up almost 5. And the Russell 2000 has managed to add 1 point. Not a mover, not a shaker in the house. In the commodity basket, crude oil up 47 cents, trading 72.82 last. Gold added $1.29. Go gold. Trading 12.92.20 last. In the Asian markets, at the close, the Nikkei was down 42 points. The Shanghai was up about a half a point. And the Hang Seng up 186. And in European markets, the FTSE closed up 18. The DAX was up 92. And the CAC up 2.5. Mover and shaker there was the DAX, which reported 0 yesterday. I think that was due to a banking holiday. But it added 0.75% today. That's it for the numbers around the world and a spot of the news. And if Michael is ready, he can come on in here, please, and give us a recap of everything that happened in the live trading room today.
Yes. All right, give me just there we go. And here we go. Can you hear me okay?
I hear you just fine. Yep, perfect.
View is my screen. Excellent. Ready to go.
You ready? Ready on the left, ready on the right. Okay. Then let me hit mute, and it is all yours.
Okay. All right. It's going to be fairly quick because today was just a flat day. We had a yellow day today. But I'll get into that. Good afternoon, everyone. Today is Tuesday, the 22nd day of May, 2018. Tuesday, the 22nd day of May, 2018. It's messing me all up. Let's see, today. Well, first, if you have not taken a free trial with us, then simply go to the home page at CFRN.net. And up here at the very top where it says sign up for the CFRN live trading room, 100% free trial. Use your indicators and learn our strategy. Then click there. When you click there, you'll be brought to this page right here. On this page, all we ask for is your email, your first name, how you found us. Hit the submit button. Once you hit the submit button, you will be sent a confirmation link. You must click on the confirmation link. Okay, if you don't click the confirmation link, we don't know that you took the free trial. So you gotta make sure you hit that confirmation link. Okay. the recap. Today, as I said, was a yellow day. We didn't get our goal for the day today. There were just so little follow through and so few trade setups during the room. I think I only missed 2, and 2, maybe 3. I don't know. We'll go through it all in a minute. But anyway, as I said, today is the 22nd day of May, 2018. You're going to read the spreadsheet. You read all the CFTC risk disclosures down at the bottom. Yeah, we made 5 ticks on the euro. That's $31.25. Okay, did not get the goal for the day, and we took a total of 7 trades today. Okay, so on the month now, we're at $2,453. That's over 16 days, averaging $153 per day. And on the year, we're at $16,105. That's over 95 days, averaging $169 per day. Okay, that's trading 1 contract, 2 hours per day. Okay. Now, we'll take a look at what didn't happen. Here on the gold, you can see the whole morning gold is from right here to right there. That was the whole morning gold. We just did not get trade setups all morning. We didn't miss anything. We just didn't get any trade setups. And would I trade right now? No, it's not trending. I would not do a darn thing with gold right now. Okay. Now maybe if we go to a higher time frame, of course, then you're risking more money. But if you go to a higher time frame, there may have been a little bit of opportunity. It's just one of those days, no news events to speak of, and nothing happening. The euro is where we did the majority of the lifting today. And let's see, we missed this very first one right here, and we had a break even there, a break even there. They do, Brad. Sometimes the higher time frames do work better. But we had a break even there and a break even there, and then on this one, we made 6 ticks profit, and on this one, we lost 8 ticks, put us back to -2. We picked up 3 ticks right there to get us up to +1. We missed this trade right here. This would have gotten us the goal for the day, I think. And then we got this one, which was 4 more. Okay. Then it got into the break, and let's see, during the break, 1 momentum long right there for about 4 ticks, and you know, I probably wouldn't have done anything in here. It's just not trending. But so we ended up with +5 on the euro. Now, crude, it looks like, has had some movement since we shut the room down this morning. Let's scroll back here. Right here was a shorting opportunity, I think. Yeah, right there was a shorting opportunity. That gave a few ticks. The entry should have been up here at 72.40, and it dropped down to 72.29. So it's possible you could have gotten your goal for the day there. We ended up with a break even here, and then we were just waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting, and then we got into the end of the morning session. Okay, and then there was more waiting. The only trade during the break would have been right here, right there. And that, you know, that would have given you the goal for the day if you'd have gotten into it and stayed in it for the full 10 ticks. So it's not too bad. Now, the ES, let's back that out. We started out here with a break even on the ES. Okay, ended up getting a break even on that. It started out right here going up into the weekly trading zone. Then it got really flat, went back to the zone. Then it dropped away from it, but we didn't have any trade set up. It started to pull back, but we still didn't have any trade setups in there. And right in here, changed directions, but we weren't trending, so we still didn't have any trade setups in there. All the way through here, nothing. And then into the break, and more of nothing. It looks like what it's trying to do right now is get down to the weekly trading zone down here. So the closest thing, I'm not even sure. Nah, you wouldn't have had anything in there. but it looks like it's trying to get down to the weekly trading zone. Let's see. Okay, so that's it. That's it for the morning session. Bring this back up. Go over this again. Again, if you're going to read the spreadsheet, you read all the CFTC risk disclosures down at the bottom. Today is the 22nd day of May, 2018. Made 5 ticks in the euro. That was it. $31.25. Took a total of 7 opportunities. So the gross monthly profit, $2,453. That's over 16 days, averaging $153 per day. The gross yearly total, $16,105. That's over 95 days, averaging $169 per day. Okay, $169 per day. Yeah. Okay. To take our free trial, go to the home page at CFRN.net. And up here at the very top where it says sign up for the CFRN Live Training Room, 100% free trial, user indicators on our strategy, click here. Just click there, and you'll be brought to this page, where all we ask for is your email, your first name, and how you found us. Then hit the submit button. Once you hit that submit button, you'll be sent a confirmation link. You must click on the confirmation link, okay? Click on that confirmation link, and you will get your free trial. All right? All right. Well, with that, if Dwayne is available, we can pass it back out to Studio A. It's Phoenix, Arizona, overlooking South County, our largest city park.
Yep.
Okay, I tried to talk slow that time. Give you a chance.
You're going to be out tomorrow, correct?
I am going to be out tomorrow.
So those of you that will be in the live training room tomorrow, it'll be myself and Bert, and it'll be a slow motion session, not because of the markets, because of me and Bert. Michael hits the ground running every morning. That's his style. That's who he is. Bert and I, we kind of mosey around, so we use the same trade setups, same logic, same everything. Nothing changes as far as the trade goes, just how we approach the market. So if you haven't had a trial in 6 months and you want to pop in, just go to apply.cfrn.net. We'd love to have you join us. That'd be awesome. And then you'll be back on Thursday.
Yes.
That'd be correct.
So I am going to be up from like 2 a.m. all day until, I don't know, so I'm going to be like I was last Thursday, but for a different reason. I'm going to be wiped out.
Why you got to get up at 2 a.m.?
Because I got to get to the airport, and the flight is at 5 a.m., lands at 7:15, then I take a hop to the Hickory Airport, and that'll take an hour, so I'll get there at 8:30, and then I'm going to take an Uber back to my house. That'll get me to the house at 9, and then I'll be able to do the room in the morning on Thursday.
Whoa.
Yeah.
You lead an exciting life.
I really wish I didn't have to do it that way, but unfortunately.
Can you hit this email from John M? I think I've seen it about 3
Yeah,
times.
I've done it already.
Oh, you already did it? Okay. Thanks very much.
I didn't reply to him yet, though.
Okay. All righty. All right. So we won't go through the recap of the recap because, well, we didn't hit our goal, and that's the truth about trading. Is it not?
There were a couple of times during the break, though, that there were trade setups that would have gotten goal for the day during the break.
Johannesburg gets a new crypto ATM. Republic of South Africa, the continent's economic powerhouse, and neighboring Zimbabwe, one of Africa's most troubled nations, have at least one thing in common: the growing interest in cryptocurrencies, Although under different circumstances, in recent years both countries have been experiencing their own versions of crypto development. The process has led to improved access to the crypto ecosphere, but now their paths may diverge again. A South African outlet reported this week that the nation got its first crypto ATM in its largest city. The teller machine has been installed at a store in Northworld, part of one of the biggest retail chains in the country. The automated terminal is a multi-currency device. Customers can buy Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Litecoin with fiat cash. Unfortunately, it supports a one-way transaction, which means only purchases of crypto are available. This is a first, but it's still got a long way to go. But just another example of the continuing spread, despite the negative news you read every day. It used to be about 50-50 positive to negative. I really think the positive is starting to outweigh the negative. Up on the screen here, S&P 500 Emini Futures last night in the email that all of the subscribers to the Concierge Trade Alerts received, we said to consider buying 27.34, and price initially ran up to 27.39. So that was good for 5 S&P points. And because important prices and important areas are almost always tested, price gets back below the trigger and runs up to 27.39. Look at that. Now, this year, right, did this move continue all the way up to a very special area that our partners already know about? It did. And so some of them might have been able to stay in that trade because they knew where the upside target was, because they got an email yesterday at 6:15 a.m. Eastern. The world at large, not aware of that, probably gets stopped out here, trailing your stop on this pullback. But those who knew that area was up here might have just waited for it. These are last week's zones, by the way, and I find it interesting, to say the least, that on that huge gap open Sunday night, we ran right to last week's zone. And I've told you that the zones on Sunday night are this. We're using the same zones that we used on Friday, okay? Because it's not until Monday morning that the new zones hit the partner's inbox. We gapped right up to the zone, back to the zone, up to the zone, back to the zone, up to the zone. And as Michael mentioned, this thing is trying to get its way back down to this old zone so that it can get below it, so that it can run down to this week's zone. And that will almost close the gap, but not quite. And I do think that closing the gap is so important to so many traders that somehow, some way, this gap will get closed before the week is out. We'll have to wait and see. Is John here, Mike?
Yes, he is.
Oh, good. I'm sorry to keep you waiting, John.
Yeah, I'll open his mic. There he goes.
Hey, John. Welcome to the show. Sorry to keep you waiting. Time got away from you there.
No worries.
How are you?
Not too bad, thanks. Actually, it's turning into a pretty good day today. I had a bad feeling about this market yesterday, the way it was acting, and we mentioned that on the show. We took another stab to the upside, as you reported a minute ago, regarding your buy stops and stuff, but it didn't go very far, and that's what we picked up on this morning. And fortunately, we put sell stops in right at the highs of the day, for the very reason that I thought, maybe this thing might sell off. And this is a really bad development today, because this is starting to undo all the good work that's been done in the last week or two, really, trying to get up to this area. But we keep hitting these resistance levels and get repelled down. And this is a fairly dangerous kind of a market because, we had a sharply higher open. Within a half an hour or so, we were basically in the red on most of these issues. The semiconductors are doing a bit better today, but NVIDIA is not doing very well, and Apple is starting to break down as well. But the SOX is kind of last man standing, along with the drugs and the financials. But everything else is in the red, including the previous leaders. The mid caps. That's a bad thing. That's something else I picked up on this morning, that the mid caps sort of ran out of gas on the upside. So the breadth is deteriorating. We haven't done enough damage yet to really get too worried. However, it is days like today that tend to, that can turn into very bad days, and this is how crashes can start. I'm not necessarily calling for a crash today, but there's something out there that's bothering the market, and it may be this whole rottenness going on with the government, the state, the deep state, and everything. This Brennan guy, just totally out of control. Can't believe some of these people like Clapper and Hayden and Brennan, they must have been really scraping the barrel to put these fellows in charge of the most important, security apparatus of the country. And then, these are the three guys these are really the only three guys who basically, said Russia, they're without them saying that Russia did everything they supposedly did, there's nothing there. There's no collusion. There's not even Russian. And then the way the news gets distorted these days, there's no proof that Russia ever hacked the emails. Nobody's ever proved that. The security, the CIA may have said it's possible they did it, but nobody's actually come out and said 100% certain that the Russians hacked these emails. And according to WikiLeaks, it was in fact, look, Kim.com, said it was done by an inside job, done with a memory stick, and
Really?
That's probably the way. Yeah, absolutely. And so this whole thing is just such a charade. And then this guy Caputo comes out, and he looks like there was another spy. And think about, they paid this guy $1 million. This is a sort of, this is this kind of reckless.
What did they pay him $1 million to do?
To spy for like 3 or 4 years.
Oh, that's the guy who with the created the dossier.
I mean, give me $1 million, I spy on anybody you want me to. What a nice life,
Yeah, right.
Sort of prancing around in Cambridge, England, getting a nice $1 million, for making a few phone calls.
You get to wear a trench coat, a cool hat, some shades.
Yeah, but it's the same recklessness that with this 1.8 billion that went to Iran, for these hostages. I mean, this whole thing is so rotten, it's unbelievable. And just a complete, how they ever came to, give the 150 billion back, with these so-called assurances, and even acknowledge that some of it might be spent on terrorism, and they still went ahead and did the deal. By the way, look, these fellows, they're all the smart people out there on the networks are saying, but Brennan presided over X number of, scandals and ineptitude, continuous ineptitude. Was the worst CIA director ever, according to everybody, just about. And this is the guy who was asleep at the wheel, while ISIS was becoming the threat that it took somebody like Trump to snuff out in like 6 months or so. They should have nipped this in the bud from day one. There's a lot of blood on their hands. What the heck were these people doing? They must have been, they were asleep at the wheel or whistling past the graveyard, in this whole thing. And they had no plan to combat it. It was a complete disaster. and how many people were killed. All these people in Orlando and California, and on the beaches of Tunisia and places like that. These deaths could have been avoided, prevented, if they had knocked this ISIS out, as soon as it popped its head up. And they didn't. They just weren't paying attention. It's just the same. Look, the CIA never saw the invasion of Kuwait, until it happened. The countless snafus over the years, and finally we got some people now running the CIA who really have done an incredible job. People like Pompeo. These are people you can have confidence in, and they're, look at what they've accomplished in a very short period of time. This guy doesn't waste. Look at this ultimatum that he's given Iran, and they're just as we've said on this show, they're teetering on the brink economically, and these sanctions are going to probably really doom in badly. It could actually create a regime change, or maybe even overthrow these mullahs. And that's the same box that North Korea is now right in, and there's no way out for him. So it's going to be interesting to see how this drama plays out in the next few weeks and months, and whether they will get a deal. But at the end of the day, there's no way out for North Korea now. He's toast. Because of his economy is in a shambles. I mean, and you can't run you can't run an army if you can't pay him, and he's running out of money.
Yeah, it's pretty hard to go out there and get people to fight and put their life on the line if they don't at least get paid.
Yeah, and you never know. There's somebody they might knock him off from the inside. It could happen. The stranger things have happened. So.
Yeah. What do you think about Mike Pence? You think, if let's say Trump gets 2 terms in office, do you think Pence could take the Oval Office?
Well, that's the natural. That's the George Bush managed to pull that off after Reagan.
Yeah.
It does. It's not a guarantee. A lot of things could change by 2024. But if everything, if Trump ends up on Mount Rushmore, for creating a 5 or 6% economy and doing a lot of other things, and maybe sorting out the world once and for all, then Pence has probably got a pretty good chance of going all the way to 28.
A friend of mine met him a week or two ago when they had the National Day of Prayer in Washington, D.C. I think 120 pastors across the nation were invited to come, and a pastor that I know here down in Yuma, good friends with, he was invited, and he was getting ready to shake Trump's hand, and there was somebody else there, so he turned to shake his hand, and then when he turned back, Trump was gone. But he said he actually got to sit down with Mike Pence, and they talked for quite a bit, and he said, man, that guy, he is sharp, he is good, and we would be blessed to have him succeed Trump as the president.
Well, he's a smart guy, and he's the kind of perfect vice president in a lot of ways, because I think Trump chose well when he chose Pence, because this guy's shown tremendous loyalty, and he stood by Trump every inch of the way, and that's pretty admirable.
Yeah, he keeps a pretty low profile too.
Yeah, but he's very well liked by everybody. He knows he has good communications on both sides. And that's another good reason why Trump was a good pick for Trump, because he has the contacts. He knows everybody, and I think he's learned a lot from Trump. That would put him instead of that would help. Bode well for him as the president, and he might do some. He might improve a lot of things on Trump. In terms of not being so abrasive necessarily, that the people might want by then. But by the way, when I must have been psychic, because I honestly didn't know this, but when I said yesterday that about Meghan and Harry they might go to Ireland.
Oh, really? You're kidding.
They actually are. They're going for a mini moon. They're going for a mini moon 2-day trip to Dublin. in the next week or two. So it's kind of, I think that's rather nice actually, that they chose to go to Ireland, first before any other country. I think that's a very good gesture, actually.
What ties do they have?
Well, the thing is, there was, obviously, I mean, I honest to God never thought I'd see the Queen go to Ireland, having lived through the Troubles over there. There was a lot of bad blood. But when the Queen finally went there, she was very well received. And since then, the Irish president's been, given a state dinner in Buckingham Palace. That's something else that nobody else would ever thought they'd see. So the relations between Ireland and England have never been better right now. And I think that Harry and Meghan going over there and making it their first trip, if you like, as a married couple, is going to get on very well. I actually got a lot of following on from Ireland, and people were retweeting all kinds of stuff about the royal wedding. So, it was well received over there too.
Interesting.
Yeah. So, but anyway, this rottenness that's going on, it's all sort of unraveling, and it's really it's probably going to go all the way to the top, and there's a lot of stuff is going to get revealed. It may take a long time, but it's definitely looks like it's going to happen. And I think, as I've said already, this guy, Christopher Wray, he didn't go in like a bull in a china shop and just fire everybody on day one. I think he's doing it in a more subtle manner. And I think he's actually doing quite a lot behind the scenes to restore the FBI to its former greatness. And, but, these people get up to a lot of mischief. Another guy was released from prison yesterday after serving 10 years because, the prosecutors hid evidence that would have exonerated him from the defense. I mean, this just goes on all the time. And the worst of it is the prosecutors that, do this never ever admit it. They never kind of apologize or admit that they were wrong. I mean, it's just amazing. And this is there's been, how many countless people have been released from prison now, being falsely accused, and some people have even been, there's a lot of people being put to death who were totally innocent, which is just mind-boggling when you think about it.
This thing that with the Golden State Killer, the fact that they, after so many years, through this DNA matching, are you familiar with this?
Yeah.
There's probably a lot of people sitting out there who've done crimes in their life that didn't get caught. Just as innocent people have gone to jail, guilty people have not gone to jail. And so a lot of people got to be sitting out there thinking, being a little worried, being a little concerned,
Yeah.
Now, most crimes, with the exception of murder and rape, I think, carry... He was a cop? I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I didn't catch that part.
Unbelievable.
But most crimes carry a statute of limitations, right? Except for murder and rape. So the only guys they'll be looking for are those are the only cases that they should be researching, I would think, with this newer technology. Now, what do you think about this Netflix deal?
Which one?
With Barack and Michelle. Have you heard about that? The news just came out, I think, late yesterday.
Yeah, I saw it.
Now, he is going to have a global stage, and he says, there'll be no rhetoric about the current administration and about the right, and it's not going to be like that. Oh, yes, it is. Come on, who are they kidding? No, most presidents, after they leave office, they write a book, they go on some speaking engagements, they make some money. But this guy, wow, he's grandstanding. This is big. It really is, because he can influence people. He can influence culture. Him and his wife, The article I read to the audience earlier is one of the most respected and well-known couples in the world. I mean, they just can't give them enough accolades for. But this is the guy that gave Iran, you know, how many billions? What was it? 1.5 billion, whatever it was, in a suitcase or suitcases, and some yellow cake. Which is why our president now has this problem on his hands.
Yeah.
But yet, now, Trump made a statement the other day that he was going to go, now that he's taken care of certain things, he's going to go after Obama and the birth certificate and the citizenship. And was that tongue in cheek, or do you think he was serious?
I don't know.
Now he was one of the first people to start the whole birther movement, wasn't he?
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on that?
I think Trump's right. You know, I think there's some people. I know some people in Hawaii, and they kind of think, you know, they basically think he was born in Kenya.
Well, wasn't the classic mistake that the birth certificate he produced, it had the name of the hospital as its name today, but back then it had a different name?
By the way, did you hear about this? These two people who were speaking Spanish in a store in Montana, in a 7-Eleven or something, or in a gas station, and they got detained by Border Patrol.
Yes, I did.
You know, I want to tell you something about that, because a lot of people don't probably understand this, but you know, they interviewed that lady on CNN last night. She's a very nice lady, and she is probably a U.S. citizen, but she's what you call I bet my life on it. I can't say for sure, but she probably is a how do you describe this? A border baby. I call her a border baby. Okay. In other words, because the trick is, you know, if you're living on the south side of the border, you know, the Mexican side of the border, and you're pregnant, you can go across, have your baby in El Paso or in McAllen or someplace. And in the old days, they didn't even have to do that. They used to go over and, you know, they'd talk to a midwife and get a birth certificate. So, you know, she said she was born in El Paso, but I'm pretty sure she's a border baby, because how can you be born in El Paso? And you know, if she'd grown up in El Paso, she'd probably have an American accent, but she has a very heavy accent, a very heavy Mexican accent. And the fact that she was speaking Spanish, even though she speaks English, but she has a very heavy accent, probably means she spent most of her life living in Juarez, you know, on the south of the border, and then maybe only recently, you know, went to the States as an adult, which is a lot of what happens. You know, the babies who get born in the just inside the border tend, you know, they still live in Mexico, but when they become adults, they can cross the border as U.S. citizens, because they got because they got a birth certificate.
Sure.
So and look, that's the law. She is genuinely, as long as she was legally born in El Paso, she is a U.S. citizen. The other one in Central California is a little different, because she's probably a farm worker's daughter or something like that. So you know, she's obviously a genuine U.S. citizen as well. But there was a huge uproar about this last night. But it was kind of interesting that you know, I mean, she's not a dreamer. You know what I mean? If you're a dreamer, you tend to speak with an American accent, right?
Sure. Yeah.
Exactly. So that's the difference, and you could forgive the guy, you know, the Border Patrol agent, when you hear him, even if she's speaking English, she's speaking with a heavy accent. It kind of, it wouldn't necessarily. I mean, given they got a sort of suspicious nature, the way they interview people, naturally having such a heavy accent, it didn't fit the picture. You know what I mean?
I know. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, this Chinese company that Trump's bailing out, that's created another fire to put out. What do you think about that?
You know what? Listen,
it's a telecom company.
the Chinese just reduced the rate by 10% on cars today. They dropped it from 25% down to 15. Why wouldn't Trump want to do a deal and help the CTE company? It's not a trade issue. It's an enforcement issue, because they violated the sanctions in North Korea. That's why this issue came up. So it's definitely not a trade issue, but they're going to pay it looks like they're going to pay a fine and probably be able to go back and do business. So I think that's fair. Listen, Trump's got to he has to do give and take with China to get the deal done. I mean, listen, what he's pulled off with North Korea was unimaginable a year ago. He's got to thank China big time. So why wouldn't he want to help? I mean, I don't understand why people are making a big deal about it.
Well, they're saying that he has some personal connections to this company.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah, that's what they're saying. And that's why it's become, I think, the issue that it's become. But soybeans continue to run higher. What about the other grains?
Well, actually, the beans did go up, and they came back. Well, the wheat is super strong, as I mentioned on this show. When wheat's leading the way, the rest tends to follow. And the wheat is really, really strong. We were 527 now. It wasn't so long I was saying the wheat was strong when it was going through 500. By the way, the lumber, guess what? It's down the expanded limit again. So, if you took my advice a few days ago to short lumber, you'd be up about $5,000 right now.
Nice.
On that trade.
Nice.
So, and unfortunately, the metals are a bit of a mixed bag this morning. The gold sold off a bit from the highs, and so did the silver, but the silver's actually still holding up pretty well. The gold has bounced back. It's almost back to the highs of the day, and the platinum is holding up well as well. The palladium's a little bit weaker. The gold stocks came in pretty strong this morning, but they got knocked down. But I think looks like they're gonna probably come back before the day's out, especially if the gold keeps going higher. Excuse me.
This thing has got to get a break above 1296. I mean, it's trying to.
Well, that has to happen. And look, we're only a few dollars away right now. So if we close, I'd say if we close anywhere around 94, 95 today or higher, we could actually gap through this 1300, possibly by tomorrow. And I think that would be very positive indeed. I think getting back over 1300 is going to be a really big deal for gold. And getting over $17 on silver will be an equally big deal. And that could be, where I honestly thought we'd get a bit of an upside acceleration today, but it was a little, it's just not ready yet to do that.
So silver's actually leading gold.
Yeah. But the structure on silver's a little bit, see how gold's pulling ahead of silver today. But I think silver will come back before the day's out, and if we if we close up around 1665 or higher, or towards 1670, you could I think you're going to see, once we get over 16.75, I think you're going to see 17 very fast, and it feels to me like that's on the cards right now. And look, the markets are really not acting well at all. They haven't done enough damage really yet to be that worried. But if they do break down this afternoon, it's probably means there's some trouble around the corner. And it's interesting how. Remember what I said about platinum a few days ago, when it just, if you look at platinum 2 days ago, you would never, you couldn't foresee a rally coming out of nowhere, right? Mm-hmm. Which is exactly what's happened. I mean, we were talking about platinum at 880. It's at 909 right now. It's a $30 rally in since we were basically talking about it yesterday. It's not bad for 2 days, you know, or for about 30 hours. It's rallied that much in 30 hours.
Can you see this chart I have up?
Hold on. Yeah.
This is gold up here, and this is silver down here. This is on a daily chart.
Mm-hmm.
But when we go down to a smaller time frame, I think it came up on 5 minutes. Look at silver.
Yeah.
And
Well, the gold has got a very bad technical structure on the daily chart, but you know, look at GOLD. Yesterday it closed pretty much right on the low, and it opened $1.20, $1.30 higher this morning. That's pretty unusual. Now it's pulled back, you know, about 2/3 of that. But if it turns here and goes back up towards the, you know,
did you mean GLD?
GOLD.
GOLD, because for me that brings up actual gold.
Yeah. It's a stock. It's called Rand Gold.
No,
but,
the gold. Okay, I've got Rand Gold. Yeah. Okay, I can bring that up.
Okay. Yeah.
There we go.
I mean, it's really acting lousy, but you know, Rand Gold having jumped up earlier today, and sold off so far, kind of tells you to be on, you know, that the structure of gold. If gold goes higher off this bottom, right, and starts taking out 1300, especially if it gets up to 1310, it's going to be a complete negation of this down week, if you like, where gold breached the 1300. I think that would be incredibly that would be incredibly positive.
You know, we had such incredible volatility there for a while, and now it's all kind of dissipated.
Yeah, Trump is saying something about that
he's meeting with the president of South Korea.
Yeah, he's just saying that. He's saying that Kim's attitude changed after the second meeting in China, and you know, this Kim probably put a spanner in the works. Sorry, the Xi. Sorry, probably put a spanner in the works on this trip, which is unfortunate. He might not have done it intentionally. Kind of like Bolton opening his mouth about Libya. You know, I think it was a bit of a stupid thing to say, frankly.
Iran and Russia have said they're going to circumvent the sanctions that Pompeo is bringing down on Iran through the use of cryptocurrency.
Well, we'll see what happens. You know, they might put more sanctions on Russia, because if they do that.
Well, I think they can do it without anybody knowing.
Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah.
So yeah. This is going to set a precedent of some kind. I don't know.
It could do. There could be a kind of a backdoor way around the sanctions.
Iranian people are not allowed to own cryptocurrency, but so far, best estimate says the people of Iran have sent 2.5 billion out of the country to relatives, whoever, to purchase crypto for them. 2.5 billion. 80% of all crypto right now is owned by retail investors, and the institutions are waiting on the sidelines, and Coinbase is getting ready to welcome them in. They've got custody accounts now so that the institutions feel safer. And when this institutional money hits this market, who knows? You know, we thought when the futures contract hit, that was going to be the final needed stamp of approval. This institutional money, will it send it sky high? Will it make it more stable? I guess time will tell. I guess time will tell. Well, John, anything else you want to cover?
Just very quickly, I did say this morning to be ready to sell the energy, because I think their energy is reaching its upper limits here. Got to be very, very careful of the energy market in the week before Memorial Day, because it usually peaks a few days ahead of Memorial Day, and I think that's what's happening here today.
Beginning of the summer drive time.
Yeah, I mean, we've basically been rallying into that for the last month or two, very strongly, along with the other reasons for rallying. But I think we've hit the peak today. We put a sell out a short while ago, almost at the highs, and happy to be short right now. We might have seen it today, and this is a kind of a retest. We had one up spike on the products that came back down and then went back up. I think this is the retest, and so this may be going down. By the way, the natural gas is actually going higher now for the first time in quite a while, and it just hit 2,900. It's been stuck in the 2,700 for quite a while, so that's a good thing. And when the natural gas goes up like this, it often means the products and the crude are maybe topping. It doesn't mean it's look, they could go down for, they could have a pullback here. We could go back down to the 60s maybe, and then start another leg up later on this year. But after Memorial Day, you have to be very careful. The energy tends to get weak, after Memorial Day. So, and actually the stocks are coming off as well. I'd probably be selling oil stocks today as well. So,
oil ran right. Go ahead.
Another thing that's going on today that's not very good is the transports are kind of getting clocked as well. They're down more than the Dow actually. On a ratio basis, the transports are down probably the equivalent to 150 or 200 today.
I just put up on the screen two of this week's weekly trading zones. I don't normally do this till Thursday, but I thought, oh, why not for crude? It just hit our weekly zone at 72.90/95, and the zone below.
We put in a sell of 72.80 this morning.
Great.
Right on that route. Yeah.
And now it's coming down to rest on the zone below, which is 72.20/25. So
look,
we
if it
could
holds that,
play in this range.
if it holds 72s, it could have another shot at the highs, and we'd turn and go with it. But if it breaks down below 72, I think it might mean this move is done, is over.
Well, I saw headlines today talking about $100 oil. Do you think that's a possibility?
Yeah, no. I'm still a big oil guy, but I think it's going to take a bit of a rest first. For a number of reasons, but the market is getting tighter, and I think you got to wait and see what the next big development is on the oil. See, the futures now are actually turning a little bit more positive. This kind of clumping around, this kind of consolidation is actually fairly positive. So even though it threatened to go lower earlier on, the fact that it's unless we roll over and go lower from here, which could happen, I would say there's still a shot, especially with those weekly trading zones there. If they get above those, the market could turn bullish. Alternatively, it could go down and test that 2730 if we take another leg down.
Right. Yeah.
So that's about it. Coffee is still joking around, between 117 and 120. However, it is a little bit more towards the higher end of the range today, so it might be ready to break out to the upside. But if you remember, I did say about a week ago, buy it around 117, 118. So if you did that, you made a little bit of money so far. And in fact, I'd probably hold coffee if you bought it much lower, down 118 or so, because especially if we go anywhere, close out near the high. By the way, the sugar is also acting really well. It's kind of trading above 12 now and holding above 12. So that's a kind of a good sign as well.
Yeah, that's a turnaround for sure.
Yeah.
Well, thanks, John. We
Okay,
appreciate you.
all the best. Have a
All
great
right.
evening. Have a great
You
afternoon.
too. All
Bye-bye.
right. Bye-bye. Okay. Let me his mic. Oh, come on. There we go. Now he's muted. Okay. If you're still wondering where you should be with this whole crypto thing, should I be in it? Should I not be in it? Should I day trade it? Should I invest in it? What the heck's going on? Well, head over to cryptoportfoliobuilders.com. We did our second webinar over the weekend, and so on the home page at cryptoportfoliobuilders.com, and this is a strategy designed for long-term investing. It's not about day trading, not about swing trading. Two things I love, but that's not what this is about. This is about a long-term investment portfolio, one that we believe has the potential to create generational wealth. So you can go to the site, you can watch our first webinar video, you can watch our second webinar video, and our third members-only class will be tomorrow night at 8 p.m. Eastern, every Wednesday night, 8 p.m. Eastern. So if you watch those webinar videos and you have an interest and you want to become a member and be in the class tomorrow night, just click the button or give me a call or shoot me an email, and I'd be happy to walk you through it. Yesterday we talked about setting the captives free. Who wants to be free? You don't have to raise your hand. Of course you do. Psalm 107:14. He brought them out of their gloom and darkness and broke their chains. God's in the business of setting people free, morally and spiritually. When the Israelites were in bondage, they cried to the Lord in their trouble, and he saved them from their distress. Jesus still delivers day after day. And if the Son sets you free, you are free indeed. John 8:36. So, if you want to be free, here's 3 steps to freedom. Number 1, cry out to the Lord. He said, "You will seek me and find me when you seek me with all your heart." Jeremiah 29:13. The cry of the Israelites was a repeated heart cry, and God still responds. I'm picking up noise somewhere. Let's see where that's coming from.
Oh, that's me doing.
Oh.
I was here.
No problem. No problem. The cry of the Israelites was a repeated heart cry, and God still responds to cries from the heart. Deliverance starts by recognizing your total dependence on Him. Instead of trying to handle it all on your own, the Bible says in 1 Peter 5:7, "Cast all your anxieties on Him, for He cares about you." Now the second step, number 2. First, cry out to the Lord. Second, feed your soul spiritually. Jesus said in John 6:51, "I am the living bread. Whoever eats this bread will live forever." That's a long time. As you feed on God's Word and share your feelings in prayer, He'll lighten your burden and nourish your soul. He came to declare freedom for the prisoners and to set the oppressed free. Luke 4:18. Take time to meditate on God's Word. Reflect on it until you understand how to apply it to your life. Knowledge without application is absolutely useless. Freedom, true freedom, requires feeding daily on the Scriptures and applying what you learn to your present circumstances. Happy are those who love the Lord's teachings and think about those teachings day and Psalm 1, verses 1 through 2. Do it each and every day and be set free. That's our good word for the day. And I forgot to ask Michael if he was having his webinar this afternoon that he normally has on Tuesday. And I don't think he's listening anymore. If you want to be in that webinar, if he's having it. Oh, he's not, Joan? Okay. All right. He's not having a webinar today. Very good. If you're on the trial and you're interested in becoming a partner, give us a call, 949-42-EMINI. Thursday night, 9 p.m. Eastern, is our next Partners Workshop. We want you to be there. If you're just starting your trial, make sure you download the platform and indicators, because just watching Michael do it, while that's entertaining and gives you knowledge, it's not the same as putting your hands on it yourself. Roll up your sleeves, get your hands dirty. Once you use those indicators, you won't ever want to let them go. I promise. So, if you haven't taken the trial, go to apply.cfrn.net. If you're on the trial, make sure you have the platform and indicators downloaded. You can call 866-928-3310. Bert will be more than happy to help you get that all set up. If you have any other questions at all, give us a call, 949-423-6464. 949-423-6464. It's going to do it for this Tuesday, the 22nd day of May, 2018. Thanks so much for tuning in. Whoever you are, wherever you are, may God continue to richly bless you with His mercy and with His grace. And I'll see you at the bell.
Remember this, there is no greater return on investment than to see a human life changed and given hope. As always, pray hard and trade safe. Any financial information discussed on this show is simply the opinion of our host, Dwayne Reeves, his co-hosts, and guests. To learn more about trading Emini Futures or to take a 1-week free trial in our live trading room, call 1-866-928-3310. 866-928-3310. Information discussed on this radio program should not be construed as a recommendation to buy or sell any security. Always do your own due diligence and consult with a licensed securities broker or financial planner before making any investment decision.